Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, as you can see from the title, I will be talking about my investment journey from $0, or really like negative dollars because I came out of grad school, to $100,000 invested. So I started investing, I don't remember exactly when, but I graduated grad school in I started working in July of 2021, and then I started investing shortly after that in my job's 401k. I think it took a couple months for me to be able to invest because I think it took a little bit of time to get the account set up. It's not available on the first day of work, obviously, but I will guesstimate maybe in a couple months later I was able to invest. So I started my investing journey in late 2021, and then I officially hit 100k invested in May. I think it was May 12th, 2025 of this year. So it took about three and a half years, something like that, from starting off to having no money invested to officially hitting 100k invested. And I want to preface this video by saying that I did not inherit any of this money or any money at all. And I did not get any money from my parents, which there's nothing wrong with, but I think it's important to note that all of this money was actually from me that I gained from working a job. And I also had to pay for school, undergrad and graduate school, so my parents didn't pay for that, so that also came from my money. So yeah. Okay, so jumping into how I was able to invest 100k. Well, first I graduated from undergrad and I was working at a pizza shop, which was I wasn't getting paid that much. I think at the time it was minimum wage, so I was probably making $10.50 an hour. But I knew that that was not going to be enough. So I had plans of going to grad school. I was still kind of figuring it out. Thought I was going to go to medical school and become a doctor. I ended up changing that. Ended up going to grad school anyway. Not for medicine, but for something else. And then I graduated from grad school and I had a job. I was able to recruit during the year, get a job. So I had a job lined up when I graduated grad school. And it was a good job and I got paid well. But I think the most important thing and the key was that I had been thinking about what I was going to do with money for a long time. Even when I had no money, probably in high school, I started thinking about when I realized I was not going to go to the NBA and I was not going to make millions of dollars playing basketball like I thought I was going to. I was fully convinced of this, by the way, till I was almost graduated. But that didn't end up working out. And I started thinking like, okay, I need to get a job, I need to get a career, whatever. And I started thinking about what I wanted to do. You know, if I ever got money, if I ever got a good job and was making good money, I always had an idea that at some point I would, get a good job, get some money, whether it was through the MBA or a regular job. So I started thinking about what I want to do with money. I think that was really important because once I got the money, once I got my job out of grad school and started working, I already knew what I wanted to do with money. It wasn't like, okay, what do I do? What do I do with this money? I knew I had a plan and I had it figured out. And a lot of people don't. They start making money. You know, maybe they're a student, or they get a new promotion or a new job, start making a lot of money, and they don't really know what to do with the money, and they end up splurging it, wasting it, or some people just save it, and there's nothing wrong with saving, but I think there's better things that you can do with your money, like investing. So I already had a plan of what I was going to do with that money, and this is a big, really important step. So a lot of people don't think about this. And my plan was to invest in low-cost index funds. That was just what I think would have been best for my money, so that's what I did, and it has turned out fantastic. And I think it depends on people's scenario. I don't want to say that everybody should be doing this, but I think that they would greatly benefit. Now I want to talk about the most important steps I think that helped me achieve this. And the number one thing, first of all, step number one is to earn money. You obviously need money to invest money. If you don't have any money, then it's going to be hard to invest, right? So you need to earn money either through a job, through a talent, through a business, through a career, something. And so that was that was what I was working on. That's why I went to undergrad and grad school. I felt that eventually would pay off and I would get a career. And then I started earning money because I had a job. You need a job to invest money. or a business or something else. And I also want to say that you're probably going to need a job or a business or a talent or something that pays enough to cover your bills and then also leaves you with something left over. Like for my example, when I was making minimum wage, that's just not enough. I wasn't investing at that time. I was barely making enough to cover my tuition and my lunch in between classes and my gas for my job and stuff like that. It's just not enough money to really make it worth investing. So I was prioritizing maximizing my income or earning income. So that's important, right? Even if you have a job or career or whatever, or business or whatever, it's not paying you enough to pay your bills and invest, then that's a problem. Number two, what's really important is creating a budget and tracking your spending. I did not do this actually because I felt like it was going to make me anxious and I was going to feel bad about my money and spending and I'm going out too much with friends and I'm eating out too much and stuff. So actually I didn't do this throughout this whole time or the majority of the time throughout my investment journey. But I started this recently and I found it to be really helpful because it doesn't make me feel guilty. It actually makes me realize what I'm spending my money on. And what I found is I'm not actually spending out of control or I'm not being outrageous. I'm actually being pretty conscious about my spending. And Ramit Sethi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he has a really great book. I think it's called How to Get Rich, or I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And I've read it, and I think he has some really good tips. And I agree with some of them. And one of them is to spend a lot on things you love and then cut costs on things you don't care about. So for me, I love to travel. So I'm going to continue to spend money on that. That sets my heart on fire. I really like it. So I will continue to spend money on it. But for example, shopping for clothes, I don't care about that. I wear the most basic stuff. This is like some cheap pullover from Target. Costs less than $20. I have no drip. I don't dress crazy. I don't really spend on, I don't know, expensive designer items or this and that. So for me, that's one thing, like that I abide by is spending money on things I really enjoy, like travel, and then just not spending money on other things that I don't care about. And that helps me. It makes me feel good because even if I do spend a little bit on this or that, like for example, I spend a lot on travel, but for me it's worth it because I'm not spending a lot of money on other stuff, right? Step number 3, I would say, is investing and not saving. A lot of people save money, but they don't invest their money. And when you're saving, unless you have a specific goal in mind, like a house or a car or something, I don't know, a wedding, whatever, you kind of get trapped in that cycle of just saving, and then your money's not working for you. If you invest that money, compound interest will work in your favor, especially if you're young. If you're watching this video, you probably have a lot more time left on earth and you can really benefit from compound interest. And I like to use, a really basic example of a person, let's say, is making $50,000. They graduate and they start working at 25 years old, start making $50,000, which I don't think is like an extraordinary amount of money. I think if you really work hard, you can earn $50,000 in this country, especially if you have a degree or something like that or some sort of skill. And let's say a person makes $50,000 a year and they invest 15%. It's normally recommended 15 to 20% for investing and savings and stuff like that. I like to advise people to do 15%. So let's say you do 15%. And you get a 3% match, which is not generous at all. Most employers give 3% or more. All of the ones I have worked for do, and many of my friends as well. That brings you about 18%. If you're earning $50,000 a year, you're investing 15% with a 3% match for your 401k. That comes out to, I believe, about $9,000 a year. And normal retirement age is, it can fluctuate depending on your financial circumstances, but I think most people aim to retire by 65, so that gives you a 40-year investment window. And if you started at 25, invested till you were 65, the same amount, let's assume that you don't get any promotions, job hopping, bonuses, anything like that, over the course of this period, you would end up with over $4 million. That's really surprising, but the bulk of that money is actually coming from compound interest rather than your actual contributions, especially as time goes on. And I think this scenario is very achievable for many people. This is not really a crazy scenario. Assuming a 10% interest rate, which the S&P 500 has produced historically. This is not anything crazy. Even if you take a more conservative approach at 7% or 8%, still puts you in a really, really good predicament, retiring with millions. But if you save that amount of money, in that time of saving 15% of your income, you would only be saving $300,000 over the course of those 40 years. And that's not factoring in inflation. So it's better to have your money working for you by investing in low-cost index funds or a business, if you have a business or something like that. But investing your money rather than saving is going to put you in a better situation. Step 4, I think a lot of people overlook this, especially if you're in a job or a career, is job hopping. Job hopping can help you maximize your income. You can make big gains in a short amount of time by job hopping, and a lot of people stay at the same job for a really long time and get slow promotions and slow raises. I would encourage people to really look at job hopping and see if you can find a better role for you with a higher title, higher pay, more bonus, maybe more flexible. There's a lot of opportunities out there, so job hopping is a really, really important step. I've been able to almost double my income in less than 4 years through job hopping. Many of my friends have been able to do the same. This is really important. The days of staying at a company for 30, 40 years until you retire, it's not really a thing anymore. Jobs aren't usually providing incentives for you to stay long term, like a pension or something like that. I mean, some do, but it's not that common. So job hopping is really, really important, especially if you're a young worker in today's economy. Don't sell yourself short. Don't leave money on the table. You should be looking to job hop every couple years. And even if you don't make the job, at least throwing out applications and looking at other potential options for yourself. Don't limit yourself. And step number 5 for me is to be patient and to be consistent. A lot of people are always looking for get rich quick schemes, and that's why they're called schemes. Most of the time they don't pan out. A lot of those get rich quick things, you should really tread carefully with those. I think patience and consistency will serve you better most of the time. Investing in low-cost index funds for a long period of time that have a proven track record of great returns is just a really smart thing to do with your money. Being patient, understanding that great things take time, and over the course of being consistent over a long period of time, you will achieve really great things, especially in your investment portfolio. So being patient, being consistent, not checking your portfolio every day, looking at it saying, oh my God, the market crashed, oh my God, it's up again. You're going to have a lot of these mood swings. I know people that I have helped start investing, and they start looking at their portfolio a lot, and then they hit me up, oh, should I sell? Should I do this? Should I do that? Tell them, no, don't touch it. Don't even look. Don't worry about it. Everything will be okay. A month later, 2 months later, the portfolio is at an all-time high, and you're like, wow, I'm so glad that I listened to you and I didn't sell and all this stuff. There's a lot of panic. Be patient, be consistent. Don't worry. Time in the market beats timing the market. You stay invested consistently over a long term in solid investments, not just gimmicky stuff like low-cost index funds, solid investment. This will really, really, really benefit you in the long term. So I just want to talk a little bit about my journey. This is how I was able to start off with $0 and quite honestly negative, because again, I came out of grad school, I had to take out loans, I didn't have any money, and then investing to over 100K in a pretty short amount of time. These are the steps that I was able to follow, and I can make other videos about this topic if you have questions or anything like that. But if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. If you found this video insightful or helpful or want to follow my journey, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. I think I'm sitting at like 123 subscribers, which I'm really happy about. I'm really stoked about. I'm really grateful for. I never even thought I would get that much. So I'm hoping to post more consistently. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time, and we'll see you hopefully in the next video.